Hello, false. First of all, if that debate happens, PM me. I want to know about it. Yeah, I don't subscribe to Cody Weber. Nothing against him, but I mean, one of the reasons is yeah, there's things like this that are just rhetoric and poetry, and I like poetry, but I like writing poetry more than reading poetry. And things like saying things are fucked or not fucked is just changing the terms around. You accept a dichotomy. All the fundamental philosophical issues are left unresolved as he struggles to free himself from this idea of good and evil, only to land in the same idea with different terms, more modern terms. And so that's kind of pointless. You're definitely right that we need to seek where we agree. We should try to find areas where we think things should change. And often we don't, that based on people's philosophical or political affiliations, we, refuse to agree with them that things must change because we know that we think they need to change in different directions. But we really should work first on agreeing that things should change. Then we should try to see if we can get common ways for things to change, because even there, we shouldn't assume that our philosophy is going to mean that we can't find you know, some way, some hybrid, if necessary, um, idea that we can agree on. And the reason this is important is basically, if we categorize ourselves into philosophical categories, political categories, all kinds of categories. And then we may do a lot of reasoning based on those categories, and that's pretty much always sloppy. Using a category in case of an individual situation is pretty much always sloppy. It's always adopting a more rough estimate than need be. And it can be done to good effect, but the issue is that we all actually have unique philosophies. We categorize ourselves and put ourselves in categories we put other people in, and then we feel this kinship of category. And that can work. I think there's an emotional faculty in our mind for doing that, and there's good reason for that. But it's also fooling ourselves a lot because we each actually have our own philosophy. And so when we go open minded looking for solutions, we have a lot more freedom than when we make our philosophical arguments that we're going to disagree on. It's quite possible that with practical matters, which solutions should be practical, that we can find agreement even though we have philosophical differences, since these philosophical differences are really in all directions. All Christians don't actually believe the same about anything. People that identify as relativists don't all agree on the same thing. And so we can find that we agree with other individuals, easily in spite of our so-called philosophical differences. I do agree with Cody about metaphorical Molotov cocktail throwing. Free speech is civil disobedience, basically. But I don't agree with the sentiment that it really helps things because basically, if you overthrow a government with guns, then the best gunfighter wins. And that's the problem. We've had good gunfighters winning for a long time now. So, you have to fight for your rights, and if you're being oppressed, you might fight for them violently. But that's more to stop something really terrible than it is to achieve something really positive, if you know what I mean. Um, Interesting video, and I did watch Cody's video before replying to yours, so I'm not against watching Cody's videos, but I don't subscribe. I tend to see them from time to time when people I do subscribe to reply to him. But anyway, interesting reply, interesting invitation, and um, and I think an important point about how we take agreements step by step, really, and let's just admit what we do agree on. Because sometimes it's hard to admit that you agree with people you disagree with. Uh, you just want to say, well, in general, I disagree with them, but in reality, you can find things you agree on, and that certain things need to change is one of the most universal things we can agree on, and it's a good starting point. So that's my input, and take care.